All right, folks. Welcome back to collegeballpicks.com Friday night pick'em show. I'm your host, mid-major money man Mike, here on December 11th, a great Friday night to get you some picks for Saturday, heading into the Christmas season. First, we're going to head over to D-Row. D-Row's got a very special treat for us tonight on our episode. What do we got, D-Row?
Mid-major, we got two guest pickers live this week here from Marquette Law School. Excuse their appearance, all of us are growing out a little finals beard, but we're ready to go, and they got a good pick for you, and then we're going to get back to business. We got Sammy Draves and Hank. Let's see what they got for us today.
All right, I like Marquette +7 this week, playing at Madison. Going to be a bloodbath. Hank Ellenson just going to lay up the court, post a triple-double, just go off. I mean, they got Hank Ellenson, Luke Fisher.
Yeah, a lot of young guys. Dwayne Wilson. Also, Marquette's won 6 straight. The Badgers are coming off a loss from UWM. This is an easy pick. I might even recommend going money line.
Oh, without a question, fuck the Badgers.
Also, big shout out to Cam's mom. She's a great woman.
Okay, that's enough for them. Thank you, mid-major. Back to you.
All right, I love the pick. Coming in with some great details, some things to stand behind. You could learn a thing or two there, D-Row, on how to make a solid pick for the people. Yes, folks, +7 Marquette coming to the boys from out of Marquette Law. Write it down, maybe even a money line pick, they're saying. But let's get back to the usual panelists. Head over to Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack, how did we do last week?
Mike, we're doing all right. You know, we're in the over 500 club, which is very nice. It's a good feeling, and we hope to keep it that way. Love the Marquette pick by the boys, by the way. Some say Wisconsin's dead now. They were murdered by Grayson Allen and Tyus Jones. Still haven't been confirmed, but it's looking that way. So let's see what other picks we have this week.
All right. Yes, some say the Grayson Allen murdered them. Even though Jimmy Mack may be the only one saying that, I'm sure it might catch on with others as well. Over on to Chili Davis. Chili Davis, what do we got? How are we doing? What happened last week?
Well, it wasn't bad. It was a 1-1 with a push week from the Bahamas coming to you. I was live down there, out of the country, our first ever out of the country broadcast. It's nice to be back on American soil and ready to win some American money.
All right. Nice stuff. Glad to see you made it back to the States. Over on to D-Row. D-Row, thanks for bringing in the guest pickers. How are you doing yourself tonight?
I'm doing okay. Again, I apologize for the language. Not something I was used to, but it is what it is. I'm doing well. Last week, okay week, 2-2. Won the Weber State. I had them +4. They lost by 5, which was an absurd ending, but it is what it is. 2-2, not terrible, but not where I need to be. I'll be back at it this week. Back to you, mid-major.
Glad to hear it, D-Row. And as you folks can probably see there behind D-Row's shoulder, he has even hired an unpaid intern to do more fact-checking, more looks into those picks. Good job, D-Row, on that outreach. So let's get into that first pick of the week this week. As you can see, Cam DeHam not here. Finally losing a few games might have killed him, we're not sure. But over to Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack, what's our opening tip of the week?
All right, Mike, we're looking at George Washington -17.5 against Rutgers. Now, Rutgers is the bottom of the barrel Big Ten team. They're straight garbage. George Washington, a very nice team. Senior leadership, they're very good together. They beat Virginia at home, so they should have no problem with Rutgers. 20-point win is definitely not out of the question. Easily cover of the 17.5. So look for George Washington -17 over Rutgers.
All right, a good pick there. Those George Washingtons do know how to play. Over on to Chili Davis. Chili Davis, what do you got for an opening tip?
Opening tip this week, I'm going to go with one of my SEC teams, Texas A&M. The Texas A&M game, I apologize. I'm going to be picking Kansas State +8 in this matchup. Justin Edwards averaging 14.8 points and 6.1 rebounds. Texas A&M, decent record so far, but the competition just has not been great. I look for the Wildcats to roll.
All right, a solid and confident pick. Glad to see you sticking to your guns there, choosing Kansas State in that game. Over on to D-Row. D-Row, what do we got for an opening tip?
Wow, real tough to trust Chili with that pick. He couldn't remember what team he was picking there for a minute. My opening tip, I like Washington minus 8.5 versus Montana. Montana, not very good this year, and this one is in Washington at the tough place to play, Alaska Airlines Arena. Washington 4-0 at home there this year. Montana 0-4 on the road. Sets up for a perfect matchup. Washington minus 8.5. I think they probably win the game by 15 to 20 points, so minus 8.5, easy. Back to you, Mid-Major.
All right, nice solid pick there. Oh, I know it's always tough for you to pick against the Big Sky, but some good insight as well. As for me, I'm going to go with UNLV Rebels -4, taking on UC Riverside, a very questionable line here. I loved UNLV at the beginning of the season. I know it was my first easy money pick. Didn't really work out too well, but they're really coming on later here in the season, beating Indiana, beating Oregon. They did have that loss to Wichita State, but it was at the Corn Dome over there in Wichita with Van Vliet coming back, so that is understandable. UNLV really living up to their freshman hype now. A lot of people talking about Big Zim maybe being a lottery pick, though I think that's a little premature. I got McCaw, we got Jones. I think UNLV runs away with this pretty easily, -4 against Riverside. And with that, we want to talk about our Fan of the Week this week. With that, we have a special Fan of the Week shout-out from Chili Davis. Chili Davis, who's our Fan of the Week?
Well, before I announce our Fan of the Week, Mike, I want to say something very nice about her. Today, 50 years ago, Kristen Parkinson was born. She was born in the great state of New Hampshire before she spent some time in the great city of Milwaukee, where D-Row currently is. Yeah. And then she relocated back to North Adams, where she settled down for her high school years. Without her, we would not be here today because we would not have been blessed with our great picker, Cam DeHam. Great girl. I met her personally multiple times. She invited me into her home when I went out to Arizona last year. And so to this, I want to raise a toast to Miss KP, Mrs. Sparky Parky, on her 50th birthday. To you.
All right, I love it. A very passionate Fan of the Week there, toast. Yes, it is KP, Miss Kristen Parkinson. Be sure to reach out to Cam DeHam if you can find him for your gift. We don't know. Hopefully it's a little better than a copy of 2004 Madden or whatever it was last week. With that, let's head over to Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack, what other picks do you got for us tomorrow?
All right, Mike, we're looking at those Buckeyes over at Ohio State. They're playing at UConn. Ohio State is plus 8.5, but UConn has been showing up in the big games. They're losing a lot. Ohio State kind of team, no one really knows that much about this year. They're pretty young, but Mark Loving, great player. He's going to come out. Ohio State should be great. Look for them to cover 8.5, and I think the Buckeyes are going to be really solid in this one, so roll with Ohio.
All right, rolling with Ohio and Big Jim on that one. Over on to Chili. Chili, what else do you got for us tomorrow?
So, as most may know, I'm typically a Florida Gators fan, but today I'm going against the heart. The Gators travel up to Michigan State, East Lansing, never an easy place to play. I also know personally what it's like to be in one of the best student fan sections in the country, as I was a Mullins Militia member at the University of Massachusetts. The zone provides a very hostile environment. I look for Michigan State to cover the 10 points. The Florida Gators just aren't that close to getting back on track yet, so look for the Spartans to roll.
As you can see, folks, even Mullins Militia diehards themselves had to take a laugh at that one. Oh, good pick, though, Chili. Over on to D-Row. D-Row, what else do we got for tomorrow?
Okay. Unlike the Mullins Militia, this team has a lot of integrity. The UNC Wilmington Seahawks, plus 12 at Georgetown. UNC Wilmington, I know this is Cam DeHam's team, and I'm stealing them this week, man. They are undefeated, and you know what? I never can trust Georgetown. They are coming off a win versus Brown, thinking they're all hot and whatever. No chance. UNC Wilmington, plus 12 at Georgetown. I think the Verizon Center, it's going to be loud, but no problem for the Seahawks. They cover the plus 12 with ease. Back to you, Mid-Major.
All right. Maybe poaching Cam's pick a little bit, but I do love those Seahawks as well. As for me, I got two other picks before I get to my easy money, but my first one, I got the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs -5 taking on the Raging Cajuns of LA Lafayette. Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech been playing great this year. Their only loss coming to Memphis. They hadn't had too much competition, but they had some good wins against UT Arlington and Ohio State. 5-point low spread here against a Cajuns team that really hasn't been showing much. Should be easy to cover. As my other pick, this line was insane to me. Pick 'em, a straight pick 'em between Marshall and Eastern Kentucky. The Eastern Kentucky Colonels, pretty solid squad coming out of the Ohio Valley Conference at 7-3. Marshall is just can't do anything. I don't understand how they even know how they're not playing the sport of basketball really. For this to be a pick 'em is downright insane. Get the money. It's a real easy pick to be taking the Colonels in that one. With that, let's begin moving on to our easy money pick of the week, our best picks for you. Jimmy Mack, what's our easy money pick for tomorrow?
Mike, we got a real good one. The North Carolina Tar Heels -5.5 at Texas. Now, Shaka Smart, the old coach of VC Pooh, now at Texas, they're still around that havoc, but they've had a lot of trouble adjusting to him. Texas, they've been an average team at best, and once Marcus Page came back for North Carolina, they've just absolutely taken off. Those bigs down low, Kennedy Meeks and Bryce Johnson, are they're arguably two of the best in the country. They work so well together down low. Marcus Page is going to light it up. I mean, I'd see RFB Roy and the boys just absolutely rolling in Texas tomorrow. So -5.5, easy money for the Tar Heels.
A good pick there from Jimmy. I'm sure Big Jim will be hammering it hard on his Bovada account for sure. Over on to Chili Davis. Chili Davis, what's our easy money pick of the week?
Last week I went with a rivalry game. I think I won it. I think I'm going to stick with it again. This week I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bearcats +6.5 against Xavier. Essentially, technically a road game, but it's always played right down the road, so I'm not too worried about the environment. Bearcats loaded up front with Octavius Ellis, who's averaging just 11 points, but 7.7 rebounds per game. I think the Bearcats have what it takes. It's going to be a grinded-out game, and looking for it to come right down to the wire.
All right, folks. Yes, that's Chili Davis, our in-house historian here with those Kennedy assassinated framed pictures over his shoulder and giving you a great pick there from Cincinnati. Over on to D-Row. D-Row, what do we got for easy money tomorrow?
This is really an easy pick. I saw this line, and I actually had to call Mike Moore to make sure this line was legit. Seems crazy, but Sacramento State +3 at Portland. Oh, baby. These Portland Pilots, they're going to be flying through some rough skies on Saturday, let me tell you. They're coming off a terrible loss to a horrible Idaho State team, and these Hornets of Sacramento State, first in the Big Sky this year, and Coach Hayford did tell me if one team is going to dethrone those Eastern Washington Eagles this year for the Big Sky champs, it may be this Sac State team. So easily Sac State +3 at Portland. Not even sure how this line exists. Easiest money you'll get. Back to you, Mid-Major.
Yes. A great pick there. Sac State surely sacking up for tomorrow's contest against Portland. As for me, my easy money pick going out of the Pac-12, taking on Boise State. Josh Brown with a no. I mean, these Oregon Ducks are only -1 heading into the Boise Dome. I mean, Dorsey has been scoring out of his mind. He's been backed up by a few other guys. I don't see them losing this game, and Boise State has been mediocre. They're supposed to be coming out with a lot of good three-point shooters this year, but it just hasn't happened. Look for the Oregon Ducks to cover pretty easily. I mean, a 1-point spread here is pretty much a joke. With that, those are our picks for this week. Happy birthday once again to KP. Thank you to the boys up there in Milwaukee for the guest picks this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for your chance to be either fan of the week or get on the show with a guest pick. And with that, just happy picking tomorrow, folks. You learn tonight.
Before we leave, I think we owe one more honor to our